Hello everybody, welcome to Tpull's Corner. This is Travis and our opponent is Kitty Queen 13. And we are playing a first strike deck because it's the month of June, and June is Evergreen Tribal Month every month here at Tpull's Corner. That means we take the terms that Wizards of the Coast has identified as Evergreen, the ones that are going to be in every single expansion. So whenever they put out a new set, it's going to have flying in it. It's going to have lifelink in it. And so what we do is we take one of those terms and we really focus and hone in on it and make sure that all of the cards, or as many as we can stomach, have that card. So all of our creatures have first strike. And they have first strike, so does that make this a mirror match? No, Tpull doesn't have first strike yet. They have battle attacks that can give their cards first strike. And they wasted their mana there. Oh, hello. They didn't pay attention that I had first strike. And we can use Clawing Torment here and get rid of the wolf. And before we lay down land, we attack with Florian, because he has a special power. And let's go get a fourth land that way, and that way we save Besiege You for an enchantment. And I think it's okay to put down Cemetery Gatekeeper. And let's exile Tpull. Now, every time that one of us plays a creature, deals 2 damage to that card. They got a haster. It's fine. So we have 1 and 1. And we're just not going to attack because they might have a lightning bolt type thing. And we want to just sit on defense and scale up real quick. If this is a wolf deck, they might have Fangblade Brigand, which can also get first strike. We've got 1 copy of that in our deck. While we wait, I'll remind anybody new, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're a returning person and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit subscribe there as well. Okay, they're going to take 2 more points for bringing down another one of those. And we still have some nice first strike. They can't get through. Not unless they have something to pump up their creatures. And since they lost Tpull to first strike, they should be a lot more wary about it now. They should have learned. Let's go ahead and do a Reckless Impulse. Gives me a land. Colossal Growth. Feels good. Let's go ahead and attack with Cemetery Gatekeeper. Are you going to block? Then I will kick this. 4/4, 10 points of damage. And Florian's power activates anyway. Do I have anything I can cast for 1 mana? Oh, I could have maybe. Don't want to exile an actual spell. I guess I'll just take the land.
You're gonna hit me in the face. Okay.
Yeah, I'd already played the land, so I lose that to exile. That's why I didn't choose a spell. And they can't beat it. They can't beat a row of first strikers. And that's our goal. So I guess I can quit the demonstration now, right? We're done? Yeah, I'll show you the entire deck. Remember to like the video. Everybody likes a winner. Okay, the name of the deck is always hit first. Every one of our creatures has first strike. And we've got a couple of ways to take advantage of that within the deck. Let's run through what we got. Let me start with the two legendary creatures first of all. I got Florian. This is what made me go from just starting with a red and green deck and dip into black. Black doesn't normally get first strike, but in this case it's because Florian is a multicolor gold card. So he's got black and red, and probably gets the first strike from red, but he's still got black in him too. So we took him, 3/3 first striker. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you look at the top X cards of your library depending on how much life your opponent's lost this turn. So it doesn't matter if I hit him with a lightning strike to their face, and that's 3 points, I'd get to look at 3 cards. If it's Florian that does the 3 damage, I'd still get to look at 3 cards. If it's another creature that does 3 damage, I'd still get to look at those 3 cards. Whatever the X is, whatever the total amount of damage is, or total amount of life your opponent's lost during the turn. You exile one of those, you do have to use it or lose it. Either if you haven't played a land, you play the land. If you have a spell, you play the spell, or you lose it to exile permanently. So you kind of have to remember to go against muscle memory. We're very used to, a lot of us, playing our land first before we do a lot of other things. In this case, you really want to wait and see what happens after an attack. And maybe not play the land in your hand, because it may make more sense out of the cards you draw from Florian on what you're going to play. We've got Helena and Elena also have first strike. They also have reach, so they can block against flyers. They put X1 counters on another target creature you control where X is Helena and Elena's power. That creature gains haste until end turn, so we could summon another creature down, give it +2 counters, and let them go in and attack. It's kind of nice. That's also why we have a copy of Plaza of Heroes in, so if we have 3 mana that's open, we could exile Plaza of Heroes, and target legendary creature would get indestructible and hexproof until end of turn. Other creatures we have Voldaren Stinger, which has first strike as long as it's attacking, plus you can spend 3 and it gets +2 until end of turn. We're not caring about the toughness of our creatures, right? It's first strike. We care about the power. If we can get more power against the creatures that are blocking us ahead of time, then we don't have to worry about a thing. We'll just knock them out with our first strike capability. And this is nice to have a pump spell if the game goes longer and we have extra mana lying around, and they decide to block us without doing the math. Maybe we pump up the Stinger and suddenly we destroy them before they even get a chance to deal damage. Goldhound, first strike, and menace, and a way to sacrifice it. If we're short on mana, we can use it to get an extra mana of color. And you notice we've got, there's a lot of evergreen terms. There's about a dozen, and we're focusing on first strike, but just by making the deck, there's a lot of stuff that has more than one. So, you know, here we have reach, and it gives haste. Here we have menace. Here we have indestructible and hexproof. So it's not like we're ignoring the other evergreen terms. We're not purposefully trying to exclude everything, but we are really overloading it with first strike more than anything else. And we just want to have this repeatable first strike threat in every creature that we put out, and see if our opponent's prepared, if they have a way to counter that or not. What else we got? Clawing Torment gives an enchanted permanent a 1/1, a -1/-1 if it's a creature, and suddenly it can't block. At the beginning of the upkeep, the player loses 1 life. Dread Fugue is our discard spell for cleave. If we pay the full cleave cost for 3, we can make them discard any non-land card we see. If we just pay for the 1 mana spell, it has to have mana value 2 or less. 1 copy of Dreams of Oil and Steel. If they have an artifact or creature card in the graveyard, we also get to exile 1 of those cards. So this is kind of our defense against graveyard recursion decks, maybe, if that comes up. We do have a 3rd discard spell with Aggressive Sabotage to make them discard 2 cards. If we've got the additional red mana for the kicker, then we can also deal 3 damage to them as gravy. Let's see, Urborg Repossession to bring a creature back from the graveyard. Whisper of the Dross. Proliferate won't do much except if we have Helena and Elena out and we've got some +1/+1 counters. We could do that. But really just to get rid of a -1/-1, or if we're going up in a combat tactic where they've got the right amount of power and toughness to beat our creature, maybe if they lose 1 power and 1 toughness, that'd change the equation and we'd come out on top. 3 copies of You're Already Dead. You destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn, and you draw a card. So if we're attacking with Stinger and they block, what if they have like a 10/10 creature and they're not afraid of us? Well, we let the first strike part of combat go by. Stinger does 1 damage to the 10/10 creature, and then we play our instant, and the 10/10 creature dies before it has a chance to return damage. So that's kind of nice. Flame Blessed Bolt for removal, Shielder's Edict for removal, and 4 copies of Terra Sunder for removal. What else do we have for removal? 2 copies of Brother's End. So that's like 8, and that's the bare minimum that I usually do. And then we have 1 Enthrall to the Pit, which I want to save until we can pay the kicker. That would be 7 mana. But we gain control of a target creature, untap it, it gets haste, we get to attack with it, and then at the end of the turn it gets sacrificed. So that's a good way to get rid of a big, troublesome creature. Let's see, Stronghold Arena. It's an enchantment. If you kick it, when it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. I don't have white mana, so I can't kick it twice. I just have the green mana. So we would at most be able to gain 3 life. But whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, this is different from Florian. It doesn't matter about life lost. It's specifically related to combat damage. You may reveal the top card of your library and put it in your hand, but if you do, you lose life equal to its mana value. So keep in mind, this is kind of a blind draw. You don't get to see what the card is before you decide if you draw it. My upper limit of mana value for this deck happens to be 4, so I have to keep that in mind if I want to take the risk of drawing a card with that out there. Blood Petal Celebrant, 1 copy. Also another one that has first strike only as long as it's attacking. When it dies, I get a blood token. Cemetery Gatekeeper is kind of awesome. First strike, you get to exile a card from a graveyard when it first enters the battlefield. And whenever a player plays land or casts a spell, if it shares the card type with that exiled card, the Gatekeeper will do 2 damage to that player. The problem is it also does it to you, so you got to be careful. The reason we have 62 cards instead of 60 is 2 copies of Reckless Impulse. This is kind of there in case I miss my land drop, but I can play Reckless Impulse, then I can draw a couple cards, and usually you get a land from that. So, plus I've got 3 copies of the You're Already Dead, so that replaces itself as well. So I'm not too afraid about going over 60 cards there. Combat Tactics, we just have a couple. 1 Colossal Growth that we can kick and give it Trample and Haste, and 1 Warhost Frenzy. And for all of these instants and sorceries, I chose the kicker cards, so that at the bare minimum I could do what I wanted to. Here in this case, is give creatures you control get +2 until end of turn. But the kicker always gives an extra kind of advantage to you if you can afford to pay the cost. So I went through all the Dominaria United cards and chose the alternate color kickers. So what that means is you've got the regular red, and then there's the alternate black color that you'd have to pay. You'd have to have on hand to pay the kicker cost. What else? Deadly Derision to destroy target creature or planeswalker, gives us a treasure token. Fangblade Brigand, which is another monoseek like Voldaren Stinger. You can pay. You have to pay mana in order to get first strike on this werewolf. But in both cases, whether it's daytime or nighttime, they get +1 and first strike until end of the turn. What else? Defiler of Instinct, also a first striker, 4/4. And we can make red spells cost less in terms of mana, but we have to pay 2 life in place of that 1 red mana. Whenever you cast a red permanent spell, Defiler of Instinct deals 1 damage to any target. And the last one, Urbrask, another 4/4 first striker. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, Urbrask deals 1 damage to target opponent. So similar to Defiler of Instinct, right? But you also add 1 mana after that. If you do want to exile it and turn it into the Enchantment Saga, you have to be able to activate only as a sorcery, and only if you've cast 3 or more instant and or sorcery spells this turn. So you'll notice that a lot of my instants and sorceries are over in the 1 mana category, so I am prepared to use this. I did it once while playtesting it, and I got to the end for Chapter 3, where you can cast instant and sorcery spells from any graveyard. And I got to cast from both of our graveyards. You do have to pay the mana to cast them, but it worked out really well, and they scooped by the time I was casting like my 5th spell from the graveyard. Alright, so that's the idea. Always strike first. These are good. Every once in a while, I'll ask you guys to go ahead and look through like a playlist or something. If you want to share the Evergreen Tribal playlist, that's good, or even just one of the videos from it. If you've got somebody who's new to the game and might have questions on how a particular mechanic works, by the end of this month, you're going to have every mechanic there is, pretty much, right? There's only about a dozen Evergreen, so we've expanded beyond just the Evergreen terms, and we'll include the deciduous terms, which are cards with mechanics that you can use, any designer can use in an expansion, but they're not mandated to be in every expansion. And we don't have, let's see, I've got Deadly Derision, so let's get 2 black mana sources. We'll bring a swamp in and build up towards having that. I don't have a 2 mana play, so we'll go ahead and play that as tapped. And let's put something on the board. We have 2 of these, so let's maximize our mana use. We'll see if they have something like ossification or something. Oh, man. It's like I've played this game before. Okay, let's not throw that away. Let's just put a canary in the coal mine instead of Florian in this case. They do absolutely nothing, which probably means Wandering Emperor. Okay, we need a second red mana source. They throw away an expensive creature just so they can go get another land. They take the 2. Okay, we've got enough to get rid of a planeswalker or a creature. Boonbringer Valkyrie. Flying, first strike, and lifelink, so we know why they went to go get a planes. Let's just go do this. And then it's time for Lana and Elena. Bam! Seal from Existence. Okay. That's not necessarily going to help you, because we can do this. You have Helana and Elena give it 2, and we'll just attack with both of them. That gives us 7 cards to choose from to cast. And, oh, we can make them lose some cards here. Perfect. Choose 2 to discard. And they scoop! Wow! We're doing good. It's been up and down. I've been trying to check the land mix and make sure that I got the right color mana up front when I need it. Been trying to make sure that I do get enough interaction so that there are some removal spells in there. I think I've got the mix right now. This is kind of iffy, but I've got 3 lands already, and I just need 1 more to get rid of something serious as a threat. So let's go get a green source. And at least we don't have to worry about artifacts and enchantments for a while. Keep our mana open, so now we can play a Terra Sunder if they do an artifact or enchantment. 3 colors for them. Kind of bad news for us, right? What happens if I kick this? We'll gain 3 life if they let it pass. They let it pass. They flash in Errant and Yada. Nice. Now they have hexproof. They are tapped out. We have 3 of these, so let's go ahead and get rid of... Let's get rid of this one so they can't cast stuff from the top of their deck. My strategy is based upon getting first strike creatures down and hitting them in the face, so don't really care about them having hexproof. And here they left things open. Let's try Helana and Elena. We just have another Errant and Giada. Yeah, let's go ahead and block. They feel comfortable with that. Am I comfortable with... I don't have red mana for that. What happens if we do that? Hexproof doesn't stop them from losing 1 life from that enchantment. And now I have this little trick with Helana and the first strike. Okay, activated abilities. We don't have any to worry about right this second. And they're tapped out. Perfect. Pass. We'll take you out, do the first strike damage first, tell them you're already dead, draw a card. That's perfect. I would like one more land at some point. Let's just go ahead and exile this one while they're tapped out. Don't have to worry about a counterspell from blue. And I'm still on defense. Let them lose a life. They appreciate my tactics. Paragon. They don't have enough to bring in those, right? So that's okay. We'll go ahead and take the Reformer out of its misery. And we need our second red source for mana now. And here's where we see if they fall for the "you're already dead" a trick first. No, they're going to let us hit. Let's go ahead and reveal what we got. It's just a land. And then we will go ahead and use our third Terra Sunder to exile the Paragon, because we don't want them getting value from bringing cards out of the graveyard. And they have 4 colors now. Should I be scared? I might be a little scared at this point. After all that, they're still ahead on lifelines. Other permanents you control have hexproof. Look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast angel and human spells from the top of the library. Kinda nice. If I do 3, I can't afford all that. I'm going to take the damage. Let's reveal what we got. It's another land. Yay! Alright, let's see if this flies. Yes! They got a lot of flying creatures. Taking out 5 of them already. They have a Traxa now. Crap in a hat. What are we taking? They get a Planeswalker out of that. They get another Serra Paragon. Angelic Intervention. Those are all going to be tough against us. Alright, I'm going to lose stuff here. What's nice? I don't know what he's saying is nice. What's nice about this? First strike. You're already dead. They fall for the trick again. Let's go ahead and put out Florian. Reformer comes out, which means I can't use aggressive sabotage on him right now. They've used most of their mana. Seriously? Let's reveal that. It's a land. You're already dead. Destroy that creature. Here's where they could use Angelic Intervention if they want to. And they do. What color did they choose? Protection from black? Why did you choose protection from black? Okay. Trample in haste. What do we have for mana? What? Hang on. I've got red and green there. What did I get wrong? Protection from colors are the color of your choice till the end of turn. They took protection from black. I'm red and green. How are they still alive? Oh, because I already dealt the damage. This was just... okay. It was the black spell they were protecting from for the death. Okay, sorry. 3, 4... I guess we can cast that. Ouch. Ouch. I think we're dead. Okay, so the discard can't help. All we have is this guy. Can give that first strike. Can give it first strike. We don't have trample. We'll lose Helena and Elena, right? So they can deal 11 to us. And they just get another angel down. Because we couldn't get that extra point to deal with Sarah Paragon. Ugh. Yeah. Yep, that's the nail in the coffin. That's the right one. Oh, wait. Oh, hello. Guess it doesn't matter too much. I could have thrown a Flame Blessed Bolt on that. Let's just... Oh, I thought I was going to die from that. There's nothing there that can help us. Nothing there that can help us. Alright. We'll just get on out of there. It was first strike against all flyers, and the all flyers beat us. That can happen. I have reach with Helena and Elena, but not too many ways to boost Helena and Elena's power. I mean, I feel good about being able to take out things like Atraxa. But just the effort of using up all your cards to get rid of big threats like Atraxa kind of wears you out and runs through your arsenal, so you don't have much left to do anything else. Okay, so we got green. Looks like we need 2 red mana to start with. Kind of want them to put down creatures. That's not a creature.
I burn with power.
Vigilance, hexproof, and haste.
Allies everywhere. Stand with us.
Can I do that against a planeswalker? Yes, perfect.
Unbearable pain.
Okay, but this only does... No, it does creatures and planeswalkers, so... We will get rid of their forest, too. And they're down to 2 land
The
again.
end of all things draws near.
That kind of worked out. We're using all of our mana. Do you have a counterspell? Do you have blue? They do have a counterspell. Figures. Legendary permanent has Ward 2. Okay, thankfully we have a second one of these. Let's just get rid of most of your cards. Perfect. Okay, so thank you. And let's get Planeswalkers. If they cast a Planeswalker again, it's going to take them, give them damage. Alright, we could use one more swamp. Just kind of waiting on our opponent. The game didn't freeze or anything. But, you know, they're blue, so if they have something they can play, they take a while to make their decision. We didn't forget, we want the swamp. Instead of playing Halana and Elena, let's attack. And if we do 5 damage, we get our choice of the next 5 cards. We've already played land. So we don't need another Florian, though. And we can't... alright. Let's go ahead and choose land after all. We'll just lose the land. They have something that's holding up priority. I don't know if it's a counterspell or not. I'd prefer not to run Halana and Elena into it. Is it a make disappear, which I can afford to pay now, or is it just a counter target creature spell? Let's see what happens. Hello. Okay, we played land, right? So we can play something for 3. Do I have the green? Yeah, I have the green for that, yeah? Okay, we'll try that. This will give us life when we kick it. If they don't counter it. They do have a negate, so that was that what they were holding up priority with all this time? Dragon. Oh, do we care about dragons? No, we do not. Ward 2. Piece of cake. Everybody has first strike. Do the first strike damage first. You're already dead. You're tapped out, so we don't have to worry about counter spells. Auto pay. And they know they're toast. Even against flyers that time, it actually worked out for us. So, Angel Tribal is kind of, you know, it's not just flying tribal, it's Angel Tribal that's maybe the kryptonite for this deck. But let's go ahead and show it to you one more time. As we remind you to like and subscribe. Hang out the all month is going to be Evergreen Tribal month. We are in our 3rd year now of doing this, so this is the 3rd time we've done Evergreen Month. And I like pairing these couple of creatures for the first strike. That turned out really well. If I have more copies of Urbrask, maybe I'd have more chances to get it out and exile it, and it's just a really fun card when it gets going. My playtesting in Thrall to the Pit already helped me win quite a bit. And my favorite kicker card when I'm playing green and black is Terra Sunder for removal. So those are my suggestions. What do you think of including like the Clawing Torment and just a little tiny smattering of discard? Is it okay to go over 62 to put in the Reckless Impulses? I like having them in there, that kind of thing. As always, leave comments. What do you think of what I did? If you think that I should have a different kind of card in here. There is another way to do First Strike Tribal. You could have all creatures, not have them have first strike at all, and just have a bunch of the red instants which give first strike to any creature. And if we have enough room, we might construct a deck like that towards the end of the month. We shall see. But we've done Vigilance already. We did Haste. We did Death Trample, which combined Death Touch with Trample, and we did Hexproofing the Kitchen. So that's with first strike. That's like 6 Evergreen terms down already, and we're not even through the first week of the month yet. So, like I said, we'll probably get into deciduous terms and other kinds of things. We'll get into things like maybe a kicker deck specifically and that kind of thing. It'll be fun. So with that, thanks for joining me, everybody. Catch you next time. Have a good one.